One question I get asked all the time is, Andrew, how did you do it? And for those of you who don't know, I'm a proud college dropout, and I remember right before I did, drop out of college of August of 2015. I ran it by some of my friends and close family. Everybody was like, "Oh man, what are you doing?" I was on scholarship at the time, playing football at a school called Seton Hill, and um, you know, having your education paid for. It seems good to the masses, but you know, evidently I just wasn't happy um, with being at school, and I had this fire in me to be an entrepreneur, and I felt like learning, sitting down in a classroom, learning from teachers who are getting hourly wages, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with hourly wages, but if you want to be an entrepreneur, entrepreneurs get paid on how they perform. That's the pressure that's on them. The last man standing. They don't have a board or, a paycheck where they can rely on. So for me to learn about entrepreneurship from people who weren't entrepreneur was not. It just didn't make any sense to me. So I ended up, dropping out of school, and I had no plan. I remember I went to my friend's school for a week before I went home, so I didn't have to face my parents. I kind of needed to just zen out for a little bit. But when I got home, my mom, my dad and my mom, they were like, "Hey, you got 30 days. You have to find a job, and if you don't, then you have to get out of here because you're not gonna be, you're not gonna drop out eating up all my food." And it's funny now that I could laugh back on it, but during the time, man, no degree, drop out. How am I gonna support myself? And that was a huge obstacle. Um, but I knew number one what motivated me, right? So humans are mostly motivated by four things, right? The four M's. I talked about this in an earlier YouTube video. One is money. Two is mating, love. Three is mastery, or status. And four is movement, having the freedom or just doing something. Now me, I'm motivated by mastery. Um, I like to have the status. I don't like things, just go. I want to be the reason why um, things are going the way it's going. So I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? So the first step of after I dropped out was defining, okay, what it is that I want to do and what motivates me, right? So I dropped out because I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew that the entrepreneur road was where I wanted to go. So number two is I had to figure out, okay, how am I gonna become an entrepreneur, right? How am I gonna learn the trait or the characteristics or what you need to do to be an entrepreneur? And the best way to learn anything is through doing it and through osmosis, right? Reading books is cool. I have a bookshelf right over there. I have some books right here on the floor behind me. See if you see it. Um, so I do a lot of reading. I also watch a lot of YouTube videos. I'm actually watching a course on how to write, sales letters and things of that nature. So reading is cool. Watching videos, that's all cool. Audio books. I just finished the Ask Gary V audio book. So I'm constantly putting good information inside my head. But there's nothing ever beats experience and getting your hands dirty and scraping your knee a bit. So I knew that after I defined what I wanted to do, I needed to find somebody who's doing what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So I made a list of people that ideally I would want to work for. Right? Number one was Ty Lopez. Number two was Gary Vaynerchuk. Three, four, five down the list, and um, you know, I tried to get jobs in those orders. Because the thing about being, young like I am, 21, is that you never want to settle for the first job out of college. I think that's a fool's game. I think a lot of people, they end up settling 21, 22, 23, and next thing you know, 31 is still at the same job, um, and not making any strides to what they really wanted to do. So I thought I was going to start from the top. Something one of my mentors always said, start from the top. So, you know, living in New York, I tried to get a job at Gary Vee. It's a bigger company, so there's a lot of red tape there. And then next, I tried to get a job with Ty Lopez, but instead of just going the regular resume route and doing resumes are probably the worst way to get hired, especially as a college dropout. I mean, shit, my resume was McDonald's and fucking oh man, it was bad. But instead of doing it that way, right, I kind of pioneered, I innovated. I bought a lot of his courses, right? He sells a lot of courses, 67 Steps, Accelerator. So I bought a lot of his courses, and then I made friends with people in the ecosystem, right? So instead of just relying on a resume to get me in the door, I relied more on relationships. So I kind of paid my way, right? After buying some of the programs, I got familiar with some of the salespeople, developed a relationship, and then after a couple months, I asked. I said, "Hey, we have a good relationship. I like you guys. I like what you guys are doing. Is there any way you can forward my stuff to the HR department?" So, that's one of the tricks that landed me the job with Ty Lopez. And actually, before I worked with Ty Lopez, I actually worked with another guy who owns a media agency in New York, and um, I got that job off Craigslist. But the way he hired me was, I sent him the resume. He said, "Cool, we'll schedule an interview next week." But instead of just waiting, because I knew if a week goes by, he's gonna find somebody with a better resume. I went there. I found the address on the website, and I went and knocked on his door, and then we had a conversation, and I compelled him to get me a job within an hour, hour and a half. So, those are some things that I did when I dropped out. Those are as far as defining what you want to do, how to map out your mentors, how to go get your mentors. Um, those are basically what I did to go from a college dropout to now living in West Hollywood. So I'm thinking about creating either ebook course that I want to kind of get out as far as helping people get their dream jobs or get their dream mentors, or just how to go from not knowing what you want to do to having more vision. So I think that's something I'm working on. I would love if you could comment below. I put my information. Hit me up on social media and tell me what you think. Would you be interested in learning how to go from kind of not knowing where you are in life and career to kind of getting a more uh, you know concrete approach to how to go about finding what you're uniquely destined to do. So that's a course, a program I have on the way. I have some more ideas definitely in the back of my mind. So definitely leave a comment below. Let me know if you're interested, and B, what else you would like me to create a course or ebook around. And I'll make sure I get right on it. I'm here for you guys. That's what I'm here for. Get you some killer content and keep the ball rolling. So I'm gonna get more of these videos up more frequently, and yeah, I'll talk to you next time, guys.